Over the past 10 years, I've tested hundreds of Shopify apps, whilst generating over 10 million in online sales now. One of these apps alone single-handedly added 4 million to that tally. I'm also going to share 8 others. These are essential apps that boost sales without sacrificing profits or stability on your store. One thing I found is that most apps were pretty much a complete waste of time. They take up so much bandwidth and not worth it. But a handful completely changed my business pretty much overnight. You see, both established brands and beginners often install way too many apps looking for shortcuts that don't really offer anything, or they just focus on the wrong ones. And I know this because I made those mistakes too. I wasted thousands again before finding what actually works. So in this video, I'm going to share the top Shopify apps you actually need in 2025. I'll show you real results, costs, and exactly how to set them up for maximum return. So if your store isn't performing as well as it should, literally adding even one of these apps could really be a game changer. And the best part, most pretty much have free trials or free plans that you can utilize straight away out of the box, the plug and play. So you'll see the app that generated me over 4 million, plus the other 8 apps that transform my customer experience and also the back-end operations. By the way, all of the links to these apps will be down below. Let's get into it. Number 1, GoJess for customer service. I remember back in the early days when I first started, I was managing inbound messages or inquiries on Facebook Messenger. They were commenting on ads. They would be emailing in on 3 different separate emails. Couldn't switch off any time of the day because you have 2 sides of customer service. You have pre-sales where they're asking, does it do this, or what about this, or what's the delivery on this, whatever the question is. And then on the back end, you have the delivery issues, or there's problems with the product, or there's just some level of communication that they need to get into, and it becomes overwhelming, particularly so once you get past maybe 50 to 100 orders a day. So enter GoJess. GoJess for me has been a life changer. And what it does is it centralizes all of your customer communications in one single dashboard. This is like amazing because all of a sudden, instead of you managing multiple platforms, having all these different logins, you literally just have the one login that builds in an API directly from all of these different channels into one ticketed system, which comes through sequentially. And this literally will save you so much time, effort, focus, and attention that you can put into the marketing, which is, let's be honest, where your focus needs to be. The other good thing about GoJess is you can create macros. So these are standardized responses that you're able to essentially think of it as like copy and paste. So if you have common questions or queries that come through, instead of you having to type them, you literally press a button, done. The other thing is it pretty much seamlessly integrates with all of the major Shopify apps. So all of the platforms, it literally plug and play. Don't have to do any like major configurations. And in terms of what the value is for you and for the consumer, for you, it's going to save you time. It's going to save you, again, juggling or spinning too many plates. For the customer, it improves response time because instead of you having to check certain things at certain times, you've got one single login. As things come through, you tick them off irrespective of the inbound channel. And most importantly, we're going to focus on increasing our customer satisfaction, or NPS, which is a net promoter score. And if you think about it, and you can probably go away and do a bit of research yourself really, if you look at reviews on most brands, you will find that a lot of them come after there's been some level of interaction with the brand or with someone who works within the brand. Most of them is when something's gone wrong and then they've got in touch with you and you've rectified the problem. This is when you are able to kind of create loyal fans and customers who will stay with you. And again, just having a bit of software that is able to organize all of this will save you time, effort, energy, resource, cost. And again, just even if it's just solely from a bandwidth perspective, it is worth the investment. And again, it's relatively cheap. If you're on a more of a smaller budget, there are other apps, for example, like ComSlayer, which do pretty much the same thing for a little bit less. But again, they do the same thing. So it's up to you which one you use. Number 2 is Klaviyo. Now, Klaviyo is responsible for between 40 and 60% of all of my revenue. So say out of that 10 million plus, let's just average it at 5 million. If I didn't have email marketing, I would literally have lost half of the revenue that I've done. This is how important it is. And if you don't know if you're sleeping on email marketing or you don't have systems in place at the moment, you're literally leaving cash on the table. So many brands that come to me that I work with, they have good infrastructure, their ads are good, they're dialed in, their messaging is good, their website is good, but they do no email marketing. And the reason that this is important is because they say for anyone to buy anything from anyone, you need to have at least 3 or 4 to 7 touch points. So if you're paying Meta to get eyeballs to your site, That's only 2 touch points, the ad and the landing page or PDP. That's it. If they do not convert there and then, which let's be honest, most people don't, unless it's an impulse purchase, okay, you've lost them. They're gone and you've lost your money. If you have your email marketing set up and dialed in, this is where you're actually able to start to build a relationship with your consumers. And this is how you get your 3 to 7, 10, 15, 20 plus touch points, because they're in your ecosystem. And once they're in your ecosystem, this is your opportunity to build trust and integrity with the consumer, educate them on the product, get close to them as the founder, educate them on what it is, how it works, what's in it, the technology, customer testimonials, all of this. That's all based building trust and integrity with the consumer to get them over the line. So that's your pre-sales. And then the other side of it, equally as important, is your post-sales. Okay, so it's not like I just got the sale and then that's it. This is what I see so many brands doing. And the level of cash that you're leaving on the table, if you are not building a post-purchase relationship with your consumers, is mind-boggling, okay? So this is your welcome flows and also your regular campaigns, which I would recommend you doing 3 or 4 every single week. And it's not about selling to them. It's not about bombarding them with like offers, etc. This is about providing value-led campaigns that educate, entertain, fill in a lot of the gaps of wherever they're not sure on the product, or you're showing them how other people are using it and getting value. And it's all just kind of drumming in to your consumer that this product is good, other people are getting value from it, and this is a brand that actually cares. Okay, so do not sleep on email marketing. The other side is having your automation flows. So this can be pre-purchase and post-purchase. These run 24/7, 365 with no input from yourself once they're built. Okay, so if we're talking about scalability, it doesn't matter if you have 10 people in your flows or 10,000, it's going to work exactly the same. It's not like it's going to bottom up or cap out at a certain point, all right? The other side is understanding your attribution. The on-site platform metrics from Klaviyo, you'd say they're fairly accurate, but even if you look at a campaign, so this is like an email that you would send out that isn't a flow, every single time I send a campaign, there is revenue attached to that campaign. So if you're not doing it, huge opportunity cost. Get this sorted as soon as possible. And Klaviyo has been the best partner for me for all of my brands. And it's been significantly higher ROI than other or just more generic email platforms. So yeah, don't sleep on that. Number 3 is Bold Subscriptions. So Bold Subscriptions is a subscription software that creates or enables you to create recurring revenue streams. It's basically customizable subscription options for customers. And the whole point of this is to make sure that when you get a customer, you keep a customer. And the way that you position this is all about saving time, effort, energy, and focus for the consumer. Particularly so if you sell a consumable product, which has MRR, the potential for monthly recurring revenue. So supplements are a great example of this. They would use it within 30 days. You know it's going to need replenished. So why rely on the customer to manually come back when they can just save by subscribing, delivered every 6, 12 weeks, whatever, to their door with no effort whatsoever. And you can also build up your pricing strategy to incentivize and point them to doing this. Because again, the lifeblood, particularly so if you don't have a high margin product, say for example, supplements, they're easier to sell because they're lower value. But what you'll find is once you build in your acquisition costs, so your cost to market, and also your operational expenses, most of the profit on supplement brands is actually made in that recurring revenue. So focusing on stretching out your lifetime value as much as possible, stabilizing your cash flow. And I think the biggest thing really is if you are looking to sell or exit your brand, when acquirers or potential acquirers see brands with predictable revenue and MRR and high retention rates, this literally can 10x the value of your business. And Bold has been a great one for me. So far, it's worked well, so I definitely recommend that you check it out. Number 4, no commerce. What no commerce is, and I spelled KNO, like no as in like knowledge, no, and then commerce, is a post-purchase survey. The reason this is important is because this is going to facilitate you, again, automated, so you're not doing it manually, to collect valuable customer feedback. And this is for you to identify improvement opportunities. It builds more customer relationships with you because they feel they're getting direct impact. And this is going to give you actionable insights to improve your product and your experience. But more than anything else, you need to know directly from your consumer how and where they heard about you and also why they bought. These 3 pieces of information are priceless, because once you start to see trends or commonalities in where they're hearing about you or why they're using the product or what their problems are, this literally dictates your marketing. This gives you the heading, because you're removing assumption and it's directly from the market. And remember, the only vote that's cast that matters comes directly from the market. So the closer you can get to exactly why they're buying and who they are and what their problems are, what their desired situation is, the more refined your marketing will be. Therefore, the more efficient you'll be. Therefore, the more you'll be able to get your marketing in front of the right people, and ultimately more profit on the back end. So make sure that's well architected. The questions are good, and plug that in as soon as possible. It's literally like, I don't know, like $19 a month or something. But the insights from it are priceless. All right, number 5 is Lifetimely. For those of you who haven't heard about Lifetimely, this is a finance app that will help you get accurate profit calculations, including your ad spend. And we're looking also, this is, I think, the original purpose of the app was to track your customer lifetime value, which sometimes is quite a hard calculation to do, particularly so because it breaks it up into cohorts. So if you don't have like a repeatable or reliable renewal cycle for customers, it's not easy to work out. You can do it on an individual basis, but the frequencies can be different, or the lifetime of your product can be different. So Lifetimely just gives this complete picture on one dashboard. And the whole point of it is really for you to be able to work out cash flow projections and also forecasting. So if you understand it cost me, I don't know, $20 to acquire a customer, we maybe break even on the first sale, but it's going to then take them another 6 weeks to come back. So you understand how your cash conversion cycle works. You can project cash flow properly and also understand exactly how customers are using it, and make sure that your pricing structure is actually viable. And if you get this wrong at small scale, this can be catastrophic at big scale. And remember, you need to be able, or to succeed in e-com in 2025 or any other time, you need to be able to make accurate data-driven decisions. And this, and Lifetimely will give you that data. Okay, it will also build in your product margins, your operational overheads, just so you get a more of a holistic view without kind of going down the forensic accounting route. On one single dashboard, just make sure all of your inputs are correct, everything's looked up correctly, and this should really give you some actionable data. Number 6, Triple Whale. Triple Whale is an analytics and attribution app, and what it does, it's basically cross-platform attribution modeling. And by attribution modeling, I mean it's going to tell you exactly where you're spending your money and where these eyeballs are coming from and where the sales are coming from. This is, again, one of those apps that you can't really live without, because if you don't know where your sales are coming from, how do you know where to allocate your spend? Now, in a post-iOS 14 world, we no longer have access to third-party cookies, which means that we can't track people and follow them around. We can to a certain extent, but compared to what it used to be, say, pre-2021, now it's very difficult. It's probably one of the biggest problems in e-com at the moment, and it makes it very difficult for you to make data-driven decisions, because it's not always directly it's not obvious where sales are coming from. And the thing that complicates it more is every single platform tries to basically say that it was like the sale happened through them. It can be Meta, it can be Google, it can be Klaviyo, it can be TikTok, it doesn't matter. They all try and claim responsibility for the sale. And this can be really confusing, because if you don't know where your customers are coming from, how do you know where to allocate spend? You don't, okay? So Triple Whale has advanced analytics that will literally let you see as transparently as is possible at the moment where your ROAS is coming from, which is your return on ad spend across channel. And it's going to essentially give you accurate, or as close to accurate as possible, data on which marketing efforts or platforms actually drive sales. So don't sleep on this, guys. Number 7, Referral Candy. Now, Referral Candy is an automated customer referral program that runs on autopilot and allows you to monetize your existing customers almost as a bit of a small sales force. Number 8, Aftersell. Aftersell is a post-purchase upsell app that plugs directly into Shopify, that basically adds a one-click order or upsell functionality to you, either in your cart, in your cart drawer, or immediately post-purchase. And this is super valuable because your customers are already in buying mode, and you're able to position a customizable offer that's kind of relevant or dependent on whatever they've got in their cart, that's going to squeeze out more value from that consumer. Sometimes when you look back, or I look back on this app, at the end of every quarter, it brings in an extra 10, 20, 30K, which if I didn't have this app, which is, again, it pretty much costs next to nothing, that's just money left on the table, opportunity cost that you could have had that you aren't, or if you don't have it installed or a similar app. It's literally so much money just sitting there waiting to be had. And customers are in this buying mode. So if you have related products or you have specific upsells, that will facilitate and actually add value to your consumer. You're actually doing them a disservice by not positioning and getting it in there. But it's about getting the right message and the right product to the right customer at the right time. And having this, it doesn't disrupt the checkout, particularly so if you do something where it's post-purchase, okay? It's not going to disrupt or put them off. It's not something else they have to click. So it's basically you're increasing your average order value without disrupting your checkout, and you can even split test specific upsells as well, so you can see which products or positioning works best or where it is in the checkout process or post-purchase process that is going to operate and perform the best. Number 9, Judge.me, which is a review platform for Shopify. And think about it, reviews are one of the most important pieces of digital real estate that's going to be on your site, because customers want to see others getting value using your product. They want to read the stories before they purchase to ensure that others have had the same problem and the product actually does what it claims to do. So Judge.me, again, it's not an expensive platform, but it integrates seamlessly within your ecosystem. It has automated review capabilities, so it's not you have to do any manual sending out or management. You can also suppress certain reviews if they're fake or they're more malicious. Really easy. It also allows customers to upload media directly. So again, it just fills out and helps your new customers or potential customers get a much more holistic picture as to, is this person real? It's not just text. Is it a real person? And having this on your product page or your landing page or pretty much across your whole digital infrastructure becomes incredibly important. As an added benefit, it also has rich snippets, which is going to help you with SEO and links directly in with Google. So you see the 5 stars under the ad or under the listing, all directly embedded out of the box from the app. And all we're doing, if we kind of take a zoom out, is to build social proof and credibility, and bottom line is to increase your website conversion rate, which is one of the most important things. Nothing better than that than social proofing. So that's it. They are my 9 apps that I recommend to use, and I'm using myself directly across my stores in 2025. And you see, guys, the right combination of apps basically creates an ecosystem, which is, ecom basically is one intertwined ecosystem where everything works together in harmony to maximize every aspect of your store or your performance marketing, okay? And this, I'm talking from acquisition on the front end to the conversion event and also post-purchase. And ultimately, let's think about the whole reason why doing this is for profitability. So whilst individual apps can boost specific metrics, implementing this strategic stack that we've discussed in this video is hopefully going to create the ability for compound growth that's going to transform your Shopify business from a store into a sustainable, scalable business and brand. And as a final thing, if you have too many apps on your store, it's going to slow things down. So make sure you clean up house, only have things that you're actually using and getting value. Make sure everything's updated and you're logging in and looking at the metrics every single time. But yeah, any questions, leave a comment below. I'm going to have all of the links in the description as well. And if you want to scale your Facebook ads, click this video here.